Good afternoon. How you doing? I started working on something. I picked this up at Jewett City last Sunday. I didn't mention it because actually I forgot about it. For $2, it's a Defiant flashlight. I got it all apart here. Very, very bright. When I bought it, the guy wanted $2 for it. Takes 3 C cells. I don't know the model number. I don't see any model number on it. This is the head of it right here. There's a circuit board in here. Now, let me backtrack a little bit because I have a habit of not keeping things in line with the order of things happen. I bought this about in the same area where I bought the pliers and other stuff. Maybe not the same vendor, I don't remember, because it was for 3 or 4 vendors that I bought from. The guy wanted $2 for this. He had a box of flashlights, and this was the nicest one of the bunch. He said $2. When I turned it on, it was super bright, and you know, it's got a push button. Well, I had a push button. I took it out over here, and you push it on, you know, and then to push it again, it gets dimmer, and you push it again, it flashes. It's super bright, brighter than any flashlight I have ever had. I was working, the guy said $2, and I turned it on, and he was there, and okay. So I got it out to the car, tried it again, it didn't work. I said, what? Pushed the button on and off, nothing happened. Played around with it again, and it comes on, it flash on, and it flash right off, and never came on again. And I says, oh great. I could see why I got it for $2. Well, to make a long story short, today being Tuesday, yeah, I decided, let me open it up and see what it is. Well, it's got these crappy surface mounted, it's got well, it had it, I ripped it out. I couldn't unsolder it, so I cut it off with the cutters, and then I took the soldering iron, cleaned it all off. Took off the damn surface mounted crap, took off the push button because you can't utilize the push button on a regular circuit. There's a spring here where your positive terminal of the batteries would go, and on the other side of this board there was a push button. I took it off. There was also an electrolytic, which I took off. There was a IC chip here, which I ripped off. Surface mounted crap, which I took the cutters and just cut off and soldered onto them. And I decided I couldn't use the push button. So what I'm going to do is the good old-fashioned switch right here, toggle switch, that I'm going to put on this thing. I can't use a push button because they're too big, and it's going to look like hell, but the flashlight works so great. I mean, it's so bright, you know, because I already had this jumpered out, and I put everything back together, and of course I'd have to take the back cover off in order to turn it on and off, and that's totally ridiculous. So I'm in the middle of adding a switch. So what I'm going to do is put all this back in, have these wires come up outside, and then I'll just tape the switch to the side of the thing here. So this was an SOB to work on. I wasn't expecting a circuit board in here. I was shocked to see that. But that's where the trouble was, because I did all my continuity checks and I had continuity, but the positive had to go through the circuitry, and I don't understand how that stupid stuff works. I can't stand printed circuit work that small. I just can't deal with it. So I scraped off as much stuff as I can off the board, and I soldered on 2 pieces of stranded wire, much longer than I need, so I can push them up to the hole here and the handle. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get this back together. I had it together once, see if I can do something with it. I can probably put some heat shrink in there. I want to get it so that if I have to service it again, at least it's mechanical, and that's what I like. In other words, a regular switch, on and off, none of this solid state crap that with circuit IC chips and stuff like that. I don't like that stuff. I cannot work on it. So this is what you call a hillbilly. A hillbilly goat, whatever you want to call it, fix, but the flashlight is really bright, and I don't want to throw it out, and I don't want to give it to the ham auction. I've got enough stuff here. I've got a bunch of television tubes here and stuff. That's a television tube that I'm giving for the donation of the ham auction. Some of them came out of that tube lot that I got. And by the way, there was a total of 21 bad tubes in that lot. And I'm estimating that's about 1/3 of the tubes, maybe almost half of the tubes. So I would say there's probably 50 or maybe 60 tubes total, because I threw television tubes right in here. I didn't even test them. They're going to the ham auction. They're donations. I don't sell them. I just donate it to the club, and whatever the club gets for them, and that's it. So in addition to the other ones that I've got. So let me put you on the tripod here. I'm pretty much ready. First I'm going to test this on the power supply and put my voltage on it, and then touch these two together and make sure that the switch part works, because when I soldered this wire on here, hopefully I didn't jump nothing else out. I couldn't do anything. I had to solder it directly to the light wires, as you can see right there, and it works good. Of course, naturally it just lights one brightness, which is full brilliance, and that's what I want. This is a ground wafer that goes against this ring, which screws into the shell of the flashlight, the body of the flashlight. And it wasn't making contact, so I put a piece of wire from here to here and put some solder all the way around. I checked it and there was no continuity, but the damn flashlight still didn't work. So that's why that's there. There's a little piece of wire there. You may or may not be able to see it because this camera don't focus that close. But there's supposed to be continuity between what's left of the surface mounted component that was under here. And there was, but it's intermittent, so I'm going to put my switch wire over on this side and get the wire to go on the opposite side of the board. I'm going to have to cut a hole in this circle board here. The only thing I got to do is there is a hole in the wafer, but I don't think it's big enough. And my drills and everything are all in the other shed. See if I can get my wire in there. I'm using an awl, and that's going in quite deep there. There we go. All right. Harbor Freight.
Damn, eyesight's piss poor, boy, I tell you. Like trying to thread a needle. Alright, that's gotta go that way, because, yeah, that's the side that the board, that's the side the board would normally, the button rather, would be on. Oh, man. Don't tell me I gotta bring this other wire to this side. That wire's gonna come out the back. It might be alright, though. It might be alright. I didn't want to cut that other wire back, but I had to. Now it's making it difficult for me to get in. Yeah, I'm doing it on video. It's giving me a hard time now. Why is that going in hard like that? I think I know why. Because of the solder blobs that I put on there. Oh yeah, and I added a piece of heat shrink. That's going to make it tighter. Now let's just see what that does. Won't tighten this real tight. We'll flip this here and put the batteries in.
And you can see, of course, I always had trouble getting flashlight covers on. There we go. All right, let's see. Yeah. All right. Okay. Yeah, that's the brightest light I've ever seen for a handheld flashlight. So there you be. Now I got to put the switch on. And see how deep that is. Well, of course, naturally the thing got turned in there. So I can push that over. Alright, there's a little well in there. Probably about a ½ inch deep. Then it goes against the circuit board, so I could put the I can solder this switch in there, and boy, I haven't soldered wires on terminals that small since the 70s. That's going to be fun. And I mean that in a facetious way. So we can strip that back. Here don't offer much magnification at all. It's only like a 2x. I can see better with this thing.
Today I stood across the street and watched you leave with him right before my disbelieving eyes. And when you saw me standing there, you turned away from me. You wouldn't even cross the street to say goodbye. You once said you'd do most anything to keep our love. You tear out your tongue before you tell a lie. Once you said you'd go to any lengths to be with me. Today you wouldn't cross the street to say goodbye. Once you said you'd do most anything to keep our love. You'd tear out your tongue before you'd tell a lie. Once you said you'd crawl on hand.
Okay, here's the finished product. I couldn't wait for the Duco cement dry because I put a lot in there. I pushed it down, but the wires kept pushing it up and loose and kept turning sideways. So I wrapped some electrical tape around it. Don't look too bad. And plenty of light. Well, you can see how much junk I got in this shop, huh? Works perfectly. That's it. I guess I'll have to admit it came out better cosmetically than I thought. Thanks for watching.